Alright, here she is. We're going to open it up, and I'm just going to use this rag because I polished the hell out. Looks great without the fingerprints. So there it is. There's the jar, and there are the cigars, and you can see how nice and dark they are. And one thing I want to show you is that, like a lot of other jars, especially with thinner cigars, this fits 30 comfortably. And there's room for a few more. I would say I had them all packed up, and I could probably fit at least 2 more without making it really crushed. And I could probably see that one moving to the side there. I could probably even get 3 more in there. So you can probably fit a good 30. And there's actually 31 in here right now, because I took one of the older ones and put it in just to see if I could, you know, scramble them up and then pick it out. I don't know. I was playing games with myself. Don't ask. Boredom kills. But you know, so there's 31 in there. I could probably fit 3 more. You could almost fit 35 cigars into this jar of this size, 38 ring gauge. And here's a few other things I did that you can't really see, and I'll explain that to you in a second after I show you this. The top. Like many of you know who have watched my other jar videos, you know that the tops of these jars usually come with a dinky little humidifier. This one did as well. The top on this is very different, and I already showed it to you before, but it's different now. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool, I think. And, you know, for jars this expensive, you know, like I said, I'll explain this in a second, but like I said, this jar is beautiful. It's very classic. It's very plain. You got your logo, and you got a little decorative gold band around the neck, and that's about it. There's no writing on the back. Even the serial number on the bottom is just a number. It just says 139 of 200, /200. And there's no hologram, there's no Byron, there's no other markings. The top is just black. I don't want to handle the top too much. God forbid I drop it. You know, there's no markings on the top. It's a very plain jar. I feel that for a jar this expensive, and they're only making 200, you could have at least wrote a little something on the back about the brand. And possibly, you know what, there's a really cool symbol that they use in Escepcion, this metal hanging down here, or this kind of like eagle thing. That would have looked really cool on the top of the jar, I think. But whatever, it is what it is. It's very nice anyway. And what I really don't like is they don't take any time to think of putting in like a special humidifier, or at least something made you know, what you get is a wood thing, and you saw it before, and what was in there was a sponge that was in a little plastic cup thing which was pushed in there. That comes out. The sponge comes right out, useless. All it'll do is grow mold on your cigars. And the plastic part pops right out. It's not glued in or anything. In place of it, I stuck this is a tiny little, it's like a brass humidifier, and it has, you know, a screen. It makes it look really cool, I think. You know, I would never use it. It's just for show, because again, all these little wet humidifier things do, first of all, they never last, because the sponge in here is 1/10 the size of the ones in the hockey pucks, and the hockey pucks suck. So this ain't gonna do much at all. I actually removed the green sponge from in there. But what it does is it gives it a fancy, like, you know, oh wow, that's pretty cool, you know, fucking you open the jar and it just looks great. I like that. Much better than that stupid piece of plastic with that white sponge. I like this design though. They use this, the only jar I've ever seen with a piece of wood like this. They're usually always just hollow ceramic / porcelain, or like the Boulevard jar, a lot of the older jars too, they use cork. This, however, they used a nice chunk of cedar, which is really nice. When I first got it, I didn't know everything was cold. Yeah, you could smell that. The package was cold, and now that it's heating up, you know, from being indoors room temperature, you could smell the wood is really letting off a nice cedary smell. So they used a nice piece of cedar, you know, and now I think that looks just great. It adds a nice little personal touch to it, you know. In a lot of my other videos, I stick a hygrometer up in there. The drawback of this design is that the lid is not hollow, which means I can't stuff my Boveda bag up in there like usual. However, the jar swells at the bottom. So what I did, because you want the cigars to go straight down also, I put a ring of cedar around the inside of the jar, which you can't see right now. All it is I took a sheet from a Cuban cigar box, cut it in half, and put the two pieces, one on either side. Nice thin piece of cedar. And that holds my cigars in place nice. It adds a little more cedar to the jar, which is always great. Holds humidity, smells fantastic. And it gives a little wall of separation between the cigars and where I'm going to slide my Boveda bags. I just like telling people this stuff in case they get it or they want to know, like, how do I use the jar, the best way to keep my cigars humidified. I've learned that Boveda bags in jars are fantastic because they don't create mold or anything like that. They don't over-humidify. They suck up excess humidity. Ideal for a jar situation where air can't escape like a humidor usually, especially if they're going to stay closed for a long amount of time. In essence, you can really leave Boveda bags right up against the cigars like I do in my humidors. However, being that they're going to be in there for a long time without being touched and the jar is going to be closed, I don't want them right against the cigars. So I like to separate with, like, if they're not being held off of the cigars, I'll separate them with a nice little piece of cedar. And that is that. I use also, by the way, 69%. 72 is really too high for a jar that's going to stay closed. You know, if you're going to smoke them every day, great, 72. If you're going to keep them closed up in here for, say, years or even months, definitely use a 69. Even with a 69, it'll creep to 70. It'll creep, you know, it'll creep a little bit. You don't need a 72. In the summer, when it gets hot, it'll, you know, definitely have these in a controlled temperature environment. But if you're in a place where the room gets hotter, you definitely want a 69. So that's that. We're going to smoke some of these. I'm going to pick one out here to show you. There's one. I mean, it's just a great looking cigar. Just a great looking cigar. You know, I think these are fantastic. These were made for me, man. A lot of flavor, a lot of strength. You know, very well balanced. A lot of nice flavor notes, and these are just gorgeous. I mean, you got a really, really nice reddish brown wrapper. You know, which is, by the way, which is very strange. You know, it's weird. It's like a cross between the common, you know, very silky smooth wrappers, but it also does have a kind of papery feel to it. So it's like made of both. It's very weird, you know. It's like a cross between, when somebody made a comment, you know, I made a comment, a general comment that Cuban cigars have very silky smooth wrappers, and they said, well, not all of them, you know. The Hoyo De Monterrey, which this is a sub-brand of, the Hoyo De Monterrey Epicure has a very papery wrapper. And I replied, I said, yes, very true. I shouldn't have generalized like that. This cigar is weird because it's like, it reminds me of the papery wrapper of a Hoyo, but it's like it's been hand rubbed. Like it also has a lot of silkiness to it. I can't really describe it better than that. It's a very nice texture. Nice cigar. Let's take a few out. Take a look at the feet of these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cigars here. Just want to show off the. I'm trying to zoom in on that. Really, really nice roll, man. I love the bunching on these. There's one there you could see is a little tighter. Oh, there you go. There you go. Very, 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 very nice. Nice, nice, nice Cuban bunching. Beautiful cigars, man. Beautiful cigars. This is a must-have for any collector, jar or not. You know, I don't know if they'll ever release another La Escepcion cigar. Maybe in the future. They did release another La Flor de Cano after the Short Robusto. Very recently, the Grand Cano came out, also a UK regional. Oddly enough, both La Flor releases are for the UK. There was the Diademas, of course. I don't remember anything else for Italy until these came along. And then just recently, they did release a kind of short, I think either short or regular Robusto type size Por Larrañaga for Italy. I forget the exact name of it, but I've been doing some browsing and, you know. Anyway, there they are. La Escepcion Selectos Finos Regional Edition 2011, Italia. Habana, Cuba. Cuba. Okay, so I'm going to take a nice look at these. Which one should we smoke? Personally, I like to choose cigars that a lot of people would go, oh, underfilled, but I like cigars that have a foot with a little space in them, you know. Most of these, this has the most. This is packed, you know. These are kind of in the middle. This one's actually a lot like this one. But I like a cigar that, for some reason, I don't know, just has a nice, always ends up with a nice draw for me, you know. And it's definitely not underfilled. You could feel the body of the thing all the way up. It's just a really great roll. So this one's a really nice. They're all nice. They're all similar in color right here, pretty much. I'm gonna take this one. I think I'm gonna take this one. Yeah, definitely. This one's nice. We're gonna cut this one, smoke it, and see just what we come up with. I have a feeling this thing is going to be absolutely incredible. It has such an intense aroma. Very sweet, you know, has a very sweet aroma. Promises a lot of flavor. All right.